start today's workout with a full body scan. And a full body scan is a really nice way of checking in with how the body is feeling and making a note of any kind of aches and pains that you might be feeling, any tightness and anything that we can be aware of whilst we're doing our session today. If it's more comfortable for you, by all means pop a cushion, because we're going to start in a seated position, and you can pop this just behind the hips just to elevate you up off the floor a little bit, and you might find that's a little bit more comfortable to sit in that position. But just come into a seated position for me, and you can sit the legs however is more comfortable for you, and just sit up nice and tall, relaxing the hands onto the top of the knees for me, and just close your eyes, and we're going to go through a full body scan. So we're going to start at the top. We're going to start with the head. I just want you to pay attention to anything that you can feel, any aches, pains, any tightness, any discomfort at all. We'll take a couple of seconds here, and then we're going to move down through the neck and into the top of the shoulders. And again, any sort of tightness, anything that you can feel, any aches and pains, just for us to be aware of, so we can be mindful of that as we move through the workout today. Coming down onto the shoulders and into the top of the back. And from here we're going to travel down the spine, down into the hips. So again, are you feeling tight, achy? We don't need to do anything about how you're feeling at the moment, just make a note of it, be aware of it. Down into the pelvis and into your sit bone. How does it feel in that seated position? Does it feel comfortable, uncomfortable? Down into the legs. How are they feeling? Are you feeling tired today or well rested? Pass through the knees down towards the feet. Again, any discomfort, any tightness, anything that might be beneficial for us to be aware of whilst we move through this workout today. From there, open up the eyes. Staying in that seated position, we're just going to work on some breathing. So I'm going to get you to pop your hand on top of the chest for me and onto the belly. And we're going to take some nice deep breaths. So we're going to start with inhaling, expand that breath into the chest and lift up. Hold the breath at the top and then exhale out through the mouth. And as you exhale out, you'll feel that contraction come through the ribs, that tightness come into the belly. So hands back onto the chest again. We're going to take another deep breath in. Remember, you're expanding into that diaphragm, creating loads of space, a little hold at the top, and then exhale down for me. Let's go again. Breath in. Hold at the top. 3, 2, 1. And exhale down. Let's go for one more. Inhale in. Lovely. So I want us to be conscious and aware of our breath as we move. Breath is really important in this postnatal phase. So make sure that you're not holding the breath and that we're really trying to utilize the breath into the diaphragm. So you want to kind of really expand into the chest as you breathe. So we're going to take the cushion away and we're going to use the ball for the next section. So grab hold of your ball for me. We are going to start with the ball out in front, and you're going to bring the knee out. We're going to come into a hip flexor stretch. So you're going to lean forward into that leg, that front leg, arms onto the ball, and just relax yourself out in front. So it's a nice deep stretch. If this is too much, bring the ball up so you're not putting quite so much strain through to the hip flexor, and that knee wants to be coming into a nice straight line for me. And again, take some nice deep breaths. So inhale. And you'll be feeling this in the top of the leg that stretch back into that hip flexor, so it should feel like a really nice deep stretch. We're just going to hold that position there. Again, keep that breath flowing all the way through to get loads of oxygen in. Lovely stuff. From there, we're going to change sides. We're going to bring the other leg forward and we're going to switch sides. And again, we're leaning forward into that front leg. You'll feel all of that stretch up into the top of the hip flexor here. Again, if that's too much, come back and leave yourself up higher onto the ball. If it feels good, bring that ball a little bit further forward and relax the arms out and just hold that stretch there. Again, let's focus on the breath. So inhale. Really concentrate on breathing up into the diaphragm. And let's do one more here. Inhale. And exhale. Lovely stuff. We're going to go back into that first stretch. So what we'll find is, as we go back into this movement again, we're going to feel like we can get a little bit more range this time. So it's going to feel a little bit less tight. And again, go as deep as is comfortable for you. You don't have to go as far as where I'm going. If you need to sit a little bit taller, that's absolutely fine. Just make sure that you feel nice and stable in that position, that the stretch feels like it's a good deep stretch, but it's not too much for you, not too intense. So let's inhale in. And exhale out. Let's go again. Big inhale in. Let's do one more here. Inhale in. Really nice. So we're going to switch sides again. So the leg's going to come forward. And again, you should feel, hopefully on this side again, that that tightness is eased off somewhat. So you should be able to go a little bit deeper into that stretch. So hold that position there for me. Let's go into that breath again. So inhale in. So expand into that chest. Inhale in. And as you exhale out, really feel the contraction into those tummy muscles. And again, inhale in. Let's do one more here. Inhale in. Lovely stuff. So I'm going to bring that foot back. We're going to come into centre. You're going to get to sit back into child's pose. So your bum's going to sit back onto the feet. Bring the ball out in front, and I want you to relax your head and neck between the shoulders for me. Just hold that stretch there again. Just go as far into that movement as is comfortable. You don't need to force it. Keeping the arms out in line with the shoulders. Keep those arms out straight for me. And sit the bum back as far as you can onto those heels. If that feels uncomfortable, bring your legs out wider, and that will give you a little bit more space up into the hips and should feel a little bit more comfortable if it's too much coming in tight. And again, let's hold that there. Take a deep breath in. So inhale, expand the chest. Breathe up into that diaphragm. And then exhale, contract the tummy muscles. Lovely stuff. From there, we're going to come out to the side. So just take it over to the left for me. And again, just relax your head and neck between the shoulders. You should feel this a little bit stronger down that right hand arm as you lean over to the left. Just hold that in position. Again, take nice deep breaths up into that diaphragm. Lovely stuff. Coming back into the centre for me, and then we're going to go over to the right. So over to the right hand side, and again you'll feel this right down the left hand side here, lovely into the top of the back and the shoulders. And again, just relax the head and neck, just as deep as is comfortable for you, and just hold that there for me. And then let's come back to centre. We're going to start with that original stretch. So sitting the feet back, the bum back onto the feet, roll that ball out in front and just relax the head and neck between the shoulders. And this should feel like a lovely stretch across the top of the back and into the shoulders. Let's take a nice deep breath up into the diaphragm. And exhale. Let's do one more here. Inhale in. And exhale out. So roll the ball back in towards you. Now we're going to stretch out the calf. So bring the ball forward, forearms resting onto the ball, and that's going to take the majority of the weight. And I'm going to get you to extend that leg back behind you and press the heel down towards the floor for me. And just hold that stretch there. Make sure you feel nice and stable on the ball. You can use as much of the body weight onto the ball as you need. And just hold that stretch. Try not to bounce the foot in and out of the heel. Just hold it into that deep position. If you're not feeling it enough, bring that foot in a little bit closer and extend out, and you'll feel it a little bit tighter through the calf muscle. These get really tight when you spend a lot of time on your feet. Lovely stuff. Let's change sides. So same again. Just pressing that heel back towards the floor and just hold that stretch there. Like I say, don't bounce in and out, just keep it into that position. Nice deep stretch. Lovely stuff. So we're going to pop the ball to one side. And we're going to stretch out through the spine. So I'm going to get you to come into a tabletop position for me. We're going to do cat and cow. So we're going to start in a neutral position. So make sure that your knees are stacked underneath your hips and your arms are stacked underneath your shoulders. And just rock the pelvis back and forth until you find that nice flat back neutral position for me. From there, we're going to arch up towards the sky, bring the chin to the chest and tuck the tailbone under for me. Get nice and high into that stretch. And then we're going to relax down, drop the belly button down towards the mat, lift the head and neck up. Lovely. So now we're going to inhale, lift up. And exhale, relax down. Good, let's go again. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, relax down. This is a really lovely stretch, just releasing tension through the spine. One more here for me, lift up. Perfect, so just come back and sit onto the heels for me. So next we're going to do a Superman exercise. So this is going to require quite a lot of core engagement and strength and quite a lot of control through that movement. You want to go nice and steady. You're going to come into that tabletop position like we just did with the cat and cow stretch. We're going to reach opposite arm, opposite leg out. So coming into that tabletop position, remember knees stacked underneath your hips and you want your arms stacked underneath your shoulders. And we're going to reach out opposite arm, opposite leg. So reaching out into a nice neutral position. Your leg doesn't have to go up completely towards the sky. And you're going to hold that position there for me. You should be able to feel the glute on this leg as it lifts up. Really consciously think about the glute as you're lifting that leg into that position. And then bring that down for me. Again, make sure as you come back into that position that you're stacking yourself back into that nice secure position as you lift up. And then we're going to go again. So lifting out into a nice straight line. Really squeeze that glute as you lift the leg up. And then come back to center for me. And let's go again. So lift, squeeze that glute. Try and keep your hips facing down towards the floor rather than letting the hip turn too much. Try and keep them facing down towards the mat for me. And coming back into center. And let's switch sides. Still thinking about that glute of the leg as you lift it up and away from you. And coming back to center. Let's do one more on each side. And back to centre. And again. Squeeze that glute. And come back into centre for me. Lovely. So I'm going to get you to come onto your back and we're going to do a lying stretch. So back onto the mat in a nice relaxed position. Switch yourself back so you can see me a little bit better. Crossing one leg over and lifting this leg up. Tuck your hands through so your hand is coming through the middle of the legs. Hold onto the back of that leg there and just hold that stretch. And you're going to feel this all the way down the back of that crossed leg into your glute. So this is a lovely lying glute stretch. Just relax your head and neck back onto the mat. And let all that tension go. Again, take some nice deep breaths in this position. And just hold that stretch there for me. Don't worry if your leg can't come up this high or if you need to bend ever so slightly. Whatever feels good for you. Just hold that there. Good, now we're going to switch sides. So bring both legs down, cross that leg over. Again, you're going to thread that arm through the gap in your leg and lift that leg up towards the sky. And again, if that's too much, just relax through the knee and you'll feel this again all the way down here and into the glute. Just hold that stretch for me. Lovely stuff, relax that down. Now I'm going to get you to bring your knees into the chest and we're just going to rock through the lower back. So just roll the lower back out on the mat, let the legs go as wide as you can. Again, just take some nice deep breaths. This should feel really lovely into your lower back. Just take those circles as wide as you can, keeping the feet together and the knees together. And then I'm going to get you to bring the feet down onto the mat and dropping the knees to the side for me. So you can bring the arms out wide if you like. Just rock those hips ever so slightly over to the side, just as far as you can go. Bring them back into the centre again. Again, feet and knees together. And they're going to rock over to the other side. And you'll feel that twist into the lower back, into the hips. Good, and then just come back to centre for me. Lovely. So the next exercise we're going to get you to do are clams. So we're going to come onto the side. For this, your feet and your knees need to be stacked over the top of each other, and then you're going to lie yourself out, resting the head onto the bicep for me, so you're in a nice relaxed position. With this exercise, try and keep your hips facing forward. Try not to let them pull back as you're lifting the top knee. And what we're going to do is we're going to lift that top knee up as far as we can go through that position. Don't worry if it's not very far, and then relax it down. So lift up, squeeze and hold, and then relax down. Keep a hand on the hip here just so you can feel that it's not rocking back. What we don't want to do is really pull through to get the movement. We want to go just as far as we can through that range whilst leaving the hip in position where it is. That's it, lovely. And again, keep the breath moving all the way through these. Try not to hold the breath. Let's do 2 more on this side. You should really start to feel these into the glute and on the outside of the thigh. Perfect. So now we're going to switch sides and set up in exactly the same way. So you want your knees and your feet stacked over the top of each other, line that arm out, head resting on the bicep so it's nice and comfortable. And you are going to lift up with that top leg, keeping that hip nice and secure in that position so that it's not rocking too far back. And again, just go as high as is comfortable. Don't worry if your range is really restricted. If you've got tight hip flexors and glutes, this one's going to be a real challenge. Lovely stuff, keep going. And again, you're going to be feeling this into the glute and down the side of the thigh here as you work through those repetitions. Let's do 2 more here. Lovely stuff. So come up into a seated position for me. And again, if you want to grab a cushion to sit on, if that's more comfortable for you, that's absolutely fine. I'm going to sit up nice and tall, and I'm going to get you to bring the arm across the front of the chest. Hold the arm against the forearm here and keep the shoulders and the chest on square, and you should feel this stretch into the shoulders and top of the back, and just hold that there for me. Again, take some nice deep breaths. Lovely. Now switching sides, other arm comes across, and again, arm onto the forearm, not onto the elbow joint, and just hold that stretch across the front of the chest. Again, keeping nice and tall and proud through the chest. Lovely. Bring that arm down. We're now going to reach up and over the top. So again, just go as far as is comfortable, creating loads of space down the top of the shoulders and into the back here. Again, take a nice deep breath in. Really feel that breath expand into the chest. Lovely. Bring that arm down. We're going to switch sides. Other arm comes over. Lovely stuff. Come back up to centre for me. Now, bringing the fingers together around the front, interlock those fingers, and just relax your head and neck between your shoulders. Again, still sitting nice and tall. Try not to collapse too much into that stretch. Just hold that position there for me. Lovely, and just relax that down. So now I want to just do some neck circles, just so that we can relax into the neck. So we're going to start round to the side, lifting up through, rolling back. So just as far as you can. Try not to force this movement too much. Just rolling round in one big circle. Let's do one more here. Stop in centre for me, and then let's change sides. So opposite way. This is great for all that tightness into the neck and the shoulders from picking baby up and carrying baby and breastfeeding. All those niggles and aches and pains that you felt before. Let's do one more here. Again, come up to centre for me. We're now just going to do some shoulder circles. So it's just to rotate the shoulders round to the front for me. You can either put your hands on the top and rotate them round, or you can just shrug them forward, whatever feels more comfortable. So nice and round, loads of range through those. Again, we'll have really tight shoulders from all the lifting and carrying that we're doing, and all those awkward positions we're getting into for breastfeeding. Lovely, let's go backwards now. Do one more for me. Lovely stuff. So I'm going to get you to come back into an all fours position for me. We are going to go back into the cat and cow stretch. So same rules apply. Knees stacked underneath your hips for me and hands underneath your shoulders. We're going to start by lifting up towards the sky, tuck the tailbone under, bring the chin to the chest. Take a big deep breath in and exhale. Relax down, drop that belly button down towards the mat for me. Lovely, lift up, bring the chin to the chest, inhale, and exhale down, lift the head and neck up. Let's do one more here, inhale, lifting up towards the sky, and exhale, drop the belly button down towards the floor. Lovely stuff. From there, bringing the knees out wide, feet together, relax your bum down onto the feet, bring the arms out in front, and we're going to go down into child's pose. So relax your forehead down onto the mat for me, take some nice deep breaths. So inhale, expand into that chest, and exhale. Lovely, let's take a deep breath in, and exhale. Let's do one more here, inhale, and exhale. So slowly walk the hands up towards you. So we are going to go back into the original full body scan that we did right at the very beginning. So if you want to grab your cushion back, you can do. And again, just pop it underneath the hips so you're in a nice, comfortable position for this last little bit. Feet and legs out positioned is a most comfortable position for you. If having them really up tight and crossed up is too uncomfortable, then by all means just relax them down. And we're just going to leave the hands resting on top of the legs for you, just so that you're in a nice comfortable position. So we're going to start as we did in the beginning at the top of the head, and we're going to work our way down. And I want you just to pay attention to how the body feels now that we've completed our mobility and stretch routine. Just think about where some of that tightness maybe feels a little bit less painful or uncomfortable, and where you feel a little bit more relaxed. And let's just go from top to bottom again. So close the eyes for me, starting with the very top of the head, just paying attention to how that now feels. Do you feel that a little bit looser? Is it as tight as it was when we first started the session today? Moving down into the neck and into the top of the shoulders. How are they feeling now that we've moved around a little bit and got a little bit of space into that area of the body? Are you feeling a little bit warmer? Down into the shoulders and into the top of the back. How's this feeling for you now? Working your way down the vertebrae, down in towards the hips and the pelvis. Are you feeling a little bit looser? Do you feel like you've got a little bit more mobility there now? Also listening to any areas where you're still feeling a little bit tight and a little bit uncomfortable, and where we can work on in the future. Maybe stretches that we can do more of moving forwards that can help to work on that tightness. Down into the legs, how they're feeling now. Do they feel quite as heavy, or are they feeling a little bit more like they've freed up? And down towards the toes. And just give your toes a bit of a wiggle for me. And just see how that feels. So we're going to return to the breath, so you can open the eyes or you can keep the eyes closed, whatever feels more comfortable for you. Popping one hand up onto the chest and the other onto the belly, and we're going to do some nice big intakes of breath. So inhale in. Remember, you're expanding out into that chest, into your diaphragm, feel the belly rise up, and then exhale. Really feeling that contraction through your ribs into your tummy. Let's inhale out. Really lift the chest up, and exhale down. Last couple of breaths here for me. So inhale. Expand out into that chest as far as you go, and exhale. One last breath to finish. Inhale in, lift into that chest, and exhale. Lovely. Bring the hands on top of the legs for me. Take a couple of seconds. Open up those eyes. Just readjust. And then relax there for me. Lovely. So hopefully you're feeling a little bit more pain-free, a bit more relaxed, and we've really tuned into your parasympathetic nervous system to help release some of that tension in that postnatal phase. And I hope you're feeling great for the rest of the day.